Right, it's been a little while since I got into reading here. So I'm going to do 2 or 3 rapid fire ones in chapter 6 on shamanism in Joseph Campbell's book on primitive mythology. Moving right along, we're at page 254 in this book out of 472 pages that are actual text. So we are on the downhill slope, reading the book. And the last time we were reading about shamans standing against the group and how they came to the power to do that. And now we're going to read about how they did it. So we note first that just as in the puberty rites, so also in Semyonov's vision, the structuring theme was an adventure of death and resurrection. We have already mentioned the infantile image of the parent as a cannibal ogre. The point of the shamanistic vision is that, though the victim indeed was eaten, there was a power of restitution inherent in his bones that brought him back to life. He is stronger than death. Spencer and Gillen have described the corresponding event in the lives of the medicine men of the Aranda. When a man of this Australian tribe feels that he has the power to become a shaman, he leaves the camp alone and proceeds to the mouth of a certain cave, where, with considerable trepidation, not venturing to go inside, he lies down to sleep. At the break of day, a spirit comes to the mouth of the cave, and finding the man asleep, throws at him an invisible lance, which pierces his neck from behind, passes through his tongue, and emerges from his mouth. The tongue remains throughout life perforated in the center with a hole large enough to admit the little finger. When all is over, this hole is the only visible and outward sign remaining of the treatment. A second lance then thrown by the spirit pierces his head from ear to ear, and the victim, falling dead, is immediately carried into the depths of the cave, within which the spirits live in perpetual sunshine, among streams of running water. The cave in question is supposed to extend far under the plain, terminating at the spot beneath what is called the Edith Range, 10 miles away. The spirits there remove all of the man's internal organs and provide him with a completely new set, after which he presently returns to life, but in a condition of insanity. This does not last very long, however. When he has become sufficiently rational, the spirits of the cave, who are invisible to all except a few highly gifted medicine men, and to dogs, conduct him back to his own people. He continues to look and behave queerly until one morning it is noticed that he has painted with powdered charcoal and fat a broad band across the bridge of his nose. Every sign of insanity has now disappeared, and the new medicine man has graduated. But he must not practice for another year, and if during this period of probation the hole in his tongue closes, he will know that his power has departed and will not practice at all. Meanwhile, consorting with the local masters of his profession, he learns the secrets of his craft, which consist, as Spencer and Gillen declare, principally in the ability to hide about his person and to produce at will small quartz pebbles and bits of stick, and of hardly less importance than this sleight of hand, the power of looking preternaturally solemn, as if he were the possessor of knowledge quite hidden from ordinary men. The new intestines of the shaman are composed of quartz crystals, which he is now able to project into people, either for good or for ill. And so here again we see the theme of death and restitution, but with a new body that is adamantine. The Oriental counterpart, which plays a considerable role in both Hindu and Buddhist mystical literature, is the diamond or thunderbolt body, Vajra, which the yogi achieves. On the primitive level, it may be proper to read such an idea psychoanalytically, as a reparation fantasy defending the infantile psyche against its own body destruction anxieties. I do not think, however, that such a reading quite does justice to the reach of Hindu and Buddhist thought, or indeed to the generally known metaphysical concept of a principle of permanence underlying the phenomenology of temporal change. It is not easy to know how far back into the primitive situation one can press the idea, universal to all the higher traditions of mysticism, of changing our lowly bodies to be like his glorious body. Philippians 3:21. But I should say, judging from what we have already been told by our Eskimo shamans, that it should be possible to run it back all the way. Nor do I know how tenaciously the reader is going to cling to the idea advertised by Dr. Freud that all higher thought except psychoanalysis is a function of infantile anxiety. But either way, we have certainly struck here a level or point of experience that would seem to represent precisely what Bastian was referring to when he wrote of elementary ideas. This introversion of the shamanistic crisis and the break temporarily from the local system of practical life lead to a field of experience that in the deepest sense transcends provincialism and opens the way at least to a premonition of something else. Indeed, I suspect that we are approaching here the ultimate sanctuary and wellspring of the whole world and wonder, all the magic of the gods. Said the Tungus shaman, Semyonov Semyon, up above there is a certain tree where the souls of the shamans are reared before they attain their powers, and on the boughs of this tree are nests in which the souls lie and are tended. The name of the tree is Turu. The higher the nest in this tree, the stronger will the shaman be who is raised in it, and more will he know, and the farther will he see. The rim of a shaman's drum is cut from a living larch. The larch is left alive and standing in recollection and honor of the tree Turu, where the soul in the shaman was raised. Furthermore, in memory of the great tree Turu, at each seance, the shaman plants a tree with one or more cross sticks in the tent where the ceremony takes place, and this tree too is called Turu. This is done both among us here on the lower Tunguska and among the Angara Tungus. The Tungus who are connected with the Yakuts call this planted tree Sarga. It is made of a long pole of larch. White cloths are hung on the cross sticks. Among the Angara Tungus, they hang up the pelt of a sacrificial animal on the tree. The Tungus of the middle Tunguska make a Turu that is just like ours. According to our belief, the soul of the shaman climbs up this tree to God when he shamanizes. For the tree grows during the rite and invisibly reaches the summit of heaven. God created two trees when he created the earth and man, a male, the larch, and a female, the fir. The vision of the tree is a characteristic feature of shamanism of Siberia. The image can have been derived from the great traditions of the South. It is applied, however, to a distinctly shamanistic system of experience. Like the tree of Wotan, Yggdrasil, it is the world axis reaching to the zenith. The shaman has been nurtured to it in his trance of ecstasy. As Eliot has pointed out, the shaman's power rests in his ability to throw himself into a trance at will. Nor is he the victim of his trance. He commands it as a bird the air in its flight. The magic of his drum carries him away on the wings of its rhythm, the wings of spiritual transport. The drum and dance simultaneously elevate his spirit and conjure to him his familiars, the beasts and birds, invisible to others, that have supplied him with his power and assist him in his flight. And it is while in his trance of rapture that he performs his miraculous deeds. While in this trance he is flying as a bird to the upper world, or descending as a reindeer, bull, or bear to the world beneath. Among the Buryat, the animal or bird that protects the shaman is called Kubilgan, meaning metamorphosis, from the word kubilku, to change oneself, to take another form. The early Russian missionaries and voyagers in Siberia in the first part of the 18th century noted that the shaman spoke to their spirits in a strange squeaky voice. They also found that the tribe's numerous images of geese and extended wings, sometimes of brass. They also found among the tribe's numerous images of geese with extended wings, sometimes of brass. As we shall soon see, in a highly interesting Paleolithic hunting station known as Malta in the Lake Baikal area, a number of such flying geese or ducks were found, carved in mammoth ivory. Such flying birds, in fact, have been found in many Paleolithic situations, and on the underwings of an important example found near Kiev in the Ukraine, in a site called Mezin, there appears the earliest swastika of which we have record, a symbol associated, as we have already remarked, in the later Buddhist art of nearby China and Tibet with the spiritual flight of the Buddha. Furthermore, in the great Paleolithic cavern of Lascaux in southern France, there is the picture of a shaman dressed in bird costume lying prostrate in a trance, with the figure of a bird perched on his shaman staff beside him. The shamans of Siberia wear bird costumes to this day, and many are believed to have been conceived by their mothers from the descent of a bird. In India, a term of honor addressed to the master yogi is Paramahamsa, paramount or supreme, Parama, wild gander, Hamsa. In China, the so-called mountain men or immortals, Xian, are pictured as feathered, like birds, or as floating through the air on soaring beasts. The German legend of Lohengrin, the Swan Knight, and the tales told wherever shamanism has flourished of the Swan Maiden are likewise evidence of the force of the image of the bird as an adequate sign of spiritual power. And shall we not think also of the dove that descended upon Mary, and the swan that begot Helen of Troy? In many lands the soul has been pictured as a bird, and birds commonly are spiritual messengers. Angels are but modified birds. But the bird of the shaman is one of particular character and power, endowing him with an ability to fly in trance beyond the bounds of life and yet return. So we'll stop here for now, and next time we'll pick up the next part of this chapter on shamanism. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it.